Hi, and welcome to the Getting Started with Student Logix video tutorial.
The purpose of this video is to teach you how to utilize the software to make your job easier. You can use Logix to organize your leads, save important notes about your clients, give you statistics about your sales, and a number of other functions that we will go over in this video. When you first log into Logix, you will see this screen. The first thing that you'll need to do when a client calls in is create a new case file. To start, click here on the Cases drop-down, and then click on New Case. Clicking on New Case will create a blank new lead. At the top, you can see that the client automatically starts off as a prospect, which means that the client has not agreed to pay for services yet. They also start out in an active prospect status. The client status lets you know how far into the program the client or prospect is. As the client progresses through the system, the client will keep moving through statuses. Probability allows you to input the likelihood of the client signing up for your program. This will allow you to organize your leads by how serious you think they are. That way, you can focus on your strongest leads. Once a lead is converted to a client, this option will be replaced by payment status, so you can easily see if they are paid in full, current, or past due. On the right side of the screen is the Activities section. This is where any changes that are made to the file are saved, such as status updates, case reassignments, or billing updates. You can store and access all sorts of important information here. For example, you can record notes about every conversation you have with the client, so even if you don't speak for a few weeks, you can still remember what was discussed. Below Activities is the Notes section. Here you are free to write down any miscellaneous notes about the client. You can use the section to remind yourself of any important information that you discuss with the client that you can use later to help make the sale. Now let's focus on the main page, the profile page. The profile page is where the bulk of the client's information will be stored. You can use the profile page to immediately access your client's contact information, see basic loan information, and view which internal employees are assigned to work on the case. Let's start by inputting the client's name and saving the file. Now we're going to focus on the second tab, the Interview tab. The Interview tab starts out with the Introduction section. The Introduction section contains a scripted series of questions that you can ask the client to gain information relevant to their student loan issues. The initial questions ask about how and why the client contacted you. You can also see that Logix has already automatically populated the client's name. Logix will continue to populate any information already entered from the profile page into the interview page and vice versa. If we continue to scroll down the page, we will see additional questions that directly pertain to the client's student loan issues. After you've gone through these questions with your client, you will see two fields that can be used to house the client's FSA ID username and password. By clicking here, you can email the client a request for this information that will send it directly to their profile privately. Once you've received their FSA ID username and password, you can click here to pull their student loan data. You can then find the data in the Documents tab of the client's case. Below the Introduction section, you'll find the Interview Script section. In the event that you need to add additional script for your team members, you can feel free to customize the verbiage in this section to fit your needs by clicking on the Administration drop-down and then on Interview Script. The next section that you will see is the Loan and Calculations section. Previously, we pulled the client's loan data. To upload the loan data to the Loan section, click here on Upload and select the text file that was previously uploaded to the Documents tab. Then click Upload File. This will pull in all of the client's loan information. If you would like to omit a loan from the plan, but not remove it from the list completely, click Ignore. To completely remove a loan, click on the line item and then click Remove. If you need to add a loan, you can do so manually by clicking Add Loan. Here, you can select the loan type and loan status from the drop-down and fill in the fields for the loan servicer, account number, balance, and interest rate. Once you have your loan set, click Calculate. This will populate a list of consolidated repayment plan options. From here, you can make your selection and export the data by clicking here. We'll go over sending documents and setting up billing shortly, but once that's complete, You can easily apply for consolidation directly through the FSA's website by clicking here. The next section within the Interview tab is the Personal Information section. This section can be used as a quick reference for contact information and will pull in any information that was saved on the Profile tab. The last section of the Interview tab is for References. Here you can house 2 references with relevant contact information for the client. Once you've completed the Interview tab, you will need to send them some documents and set up their payment arrangement. To set up billing for a client, you will go to the Billing tab in the client's file. This is the billing page. Here you can see that it's split into 4 separate sections: the Invoice section, the Payment section, the Payment schedule, and the Billing summary. To begin the billing process, you need to add an item to the invoice here. You'll select Type, and here you can input price and add a description. Each new item that you are billing a client for will be listed here, along with the date that it was added. This allows anyone who is looking at the file to immediately see what kind of services the client has been billed for. Over here, you can also see that an activity was added. This not only confirms when an invoice item was added, but it will also tell you who added the item. Now take a look at the billing summary. This window will continue to update with billing information. So now that we've added a service, let's go over adding payments. To add a credit card or bank account for the client, click here on Edit Payment Methods. Here you'll just click on Add. Once you've clicked on Add, just select what type of account you're adding. Let's go with Add Credit Card, and then fill in your client's information. It's as easy as that. Now let's create a payment schedule. The payment scheduler is simple to use. All you have to do is click right here on Payment Scheduler. You can click Add to add in payments manually, or you can click on Auto Schedule to schedule the balance out for you. Here you can input the start date for the payments, how often the client wants to make the payments, and the number of total payments the client will need to make. Let's try 2 monthly payments. You can see here that Logix will automatically calculate the amount each payment will have to be to complete the payments. You can then select Auto Pay here, and this will run all of the payments automatically, so they don't have to be run manually each time. Once you've set up the client's payment arrangement and invoice, you will need to send the client their service agreement. Logix will pull any information housed in fields within Logix that are relevant to the document and populate that information onto documents for you. If you need to edit a document, you can do so by clicking on the Forms tab. Just type in whatever form you're looking for here, and it will automatically pop up. You can see here that Logix will use all of the information that you got from the Interview tab and will populate it onto the forms. If you need to change anything, you can change it here. Once you're ready to send your documents, just click here on Send Docs. You can select your documents from the drop-downs on the left-hand side, and then select the method by which you'd like to send them out here. Logix will fill in any saved email address or fax number options for you. Just fill out any remaining information or messaging needed and click Send to send your documents. You can see over here that Logix will then add an activity. This will allow you to see which forms you've already sent the client. Now you need to click here and move the client to a newer status. This way you can organize all of your case files based on where they're at in the system. So now that we've sent out all of the required documents, we need to make sure that the client sends them back. So go here into the Tasks tab. Just click on New Task over here, and you can create a task for yourself to call the client to make sure that the client sends in those forms. Logix will automatically send you an email notifying you of every task that is assigned to a case in your name if you have your settings set to allow this. Anytime you set a task for yourself, you can also set a reminder here. This will send an email to you to remind you about the task whenever you want the reminder to be set. Once you've hit OK, the task will be listed here. Anytime you go into a client's file, you can go into Tasks and Events and see exactly what tasks and events are assigned for that case. When the client finally sends the forms in, you'll want to mark your task complete. So open your task back up by double-clicking on it, and then add comments and mark it complete here. You might also want to log an activity. To do this, click on New. You can change the activity type to Documents Received and then type in Received Forms. Then hit OK. After that, you'll need to upload the forms into Logix. You do that by going to the Documents tab. Click here on Upload Document. Name the file, and then click here to browse a document from your computer. Once you have a client's signed forms and Logix and the payment schedule set up, you can click here on Prospect and then on Convert to Client. Depending on the rules for your particular office, instead of Convert to Client, it might say Submit for Approval. This will then go to a manager who will review the file and the documents to make sure that everything was done correctly. Your client will then be converted from a prospect to an official client status, and your job here is done. It's that easy. Now that you've been introduced to Student Logix, please feel free to try out some of the features that we went over in this video for yourself before moving on to the next video. Thank you.